Alright, the first glitch that is not commonly seen or acknowledged or talked about is a thing called the Instakill Glitch. Now, I've been looking and analyzing this glitch for a minute now, and I'm still not 100% sure how it works. Basically, how this is supposed to work is you need to launch an active skill, I guess while you're healing or something of the sort, because if you see here, the Imp Boo is using his active skill, which on his active, he massively raises attacks, he gives him Ghost Usher, gets 12 key, and of course changes all key spears into the cookie key spears, right? Once that is completed, you could see that the Boo Tank's active skill goes up, and then when he activates it, it instantly kills the enemy. From what I've seen or heard, supposedly, is this attack needs to heal in order for a unit needs to heal so that you go from not being able to activate the active skill to being able to activate the active skill, and then once you activate the second active skill, it one-shots, from my understanding. Again, this is the first time I've ever seen this glitch. I have not done it myself in the game to even test if it is in the game right now, since it probably isn't. But if it is, that'd be pretty funny, because again, this glitch is very recent, since this Imp Boo has only been out for a year or some change now. So I would be pretty impressed if this glitch is still in the game, but it is hard to get a grasp of if it's still functioning or not, especially because it does seem pretty hard to execute based off of how quickly everything, how everything needs to be set up. Like, you need to be under a certain HP threshold, and then you heal, and then you go above the HP threshold, and then you need to have the attack ready. And once you do the attack, you do the active, and then you get the insta-kill. So I'm not 100% certain how that's supposed to all set up, but based on what I've seen and understand, that is how you perform the insta-kill bug. If you guys want to try it yourself, please do so. Let me know in the comments below if it still works. I myself am also going to try it after the filming of this video just to see if it works. I know I could do it now, but I really do just want to get this video out here and just talk about the details of all of these glitches. And then again, I want to see if you guys can experience this glitch for yourself. This glitch is one you probably did not get to experience if you were not playing during the early days of Dokkan, and I'm talking about the glitched Vegito you got from completing the new Super Vegito stage that dropped on accident. You see, on the global version of the game, they accidentally updated the Super Vegito event to include the new Fizz Super Vegito event, which, when that came out, it also came out with a free-to-play STR Vegito you could grind. But the issue is, global did not have Fizz Super Vegito yet, and they dropped the rewards early, but since the card was not meant to be in the game yet, all you got was this bugged-out card. Yeah, you could train it, you could super attack level it up, but you couldn't use it, you couldn't add it to teams, you couldn't do anything else. But the great thing about this was that you could use it to grind up your LR SCR Vegito Blue. You could use it for other base Vegitos that you had already. But yeah, I mean, you could grind up all these Vegitos since you could still use them for super attack fodder. But this is, I mean, if you did not play during this early days of the game, you just would never got to see the bugged out Vegito card. It'd be pretty cool if it like stayed that way, like if you could keep one of those Vegitos glitched just as like a, I don't know, like a rare card per se, kind of like all those event cards, the Komodo cards, the Santa cards, all that stuff, kind of like a collector's item, you know, to show off. But yeah, I mean, it's pretty cool because, again, Global got the Vegito early to be able to grind, but you couldn't use him anywhere else, minus, well, technically, his initial purpose. The next glitch I'm going to label as the Super Attack glitch, but it never really had a name. It was just an issue. Well, really, there was a lot of issues going on at this time during JP Dokkan. There was an issue that came out. This user said he updated to 2.5 this morning, and when he updated to Dokkan Battle 2.5 on the JP side of the game, all of his super attack damage has significantly dropped, and now his normals were doing more damage than his super attack. Not only that, units like Broly weren't even giving out the 3 key he should be giving. There was not only issues with how super attack effects were being calculated, but there also seemed to be issues with certain passive wordings or there were some issues going on in the game that things were not being inputted right, they were not being distributed right, and the game was a mess at this point. You couldn't clear Dokkan events anywhere near easily enough because your normal attacks were your hardest hitting attacks. Imagine trying to complete events like Blue Zone Gohan or the Special Battle Rose and Zamasu by using normals. You just would not be able to clear those fights because normals are not meant to be your main carry for damage output. It's supposed to be those insane super attacks you see for 150 million or stuff like that. Your normals are only doing like 10 mil to the boss. So it's pretty insane that this even happened. I don't know what could have possibly went wrong in the Japanese code that would have allowed all of these problems to exist. I'm not even sure if they were even able to label exactly what in the world happened, but yeah, I mean, super attack damage was significantly lowered. Again, even Broly wasn't giving out his 3 keys like he should. There was just some weird issues going on that allowed it to be really hard to play Dokkan for a couple of days. Luckily, they did give out pretty good compensation. They did give out 10 stones and then worked on it. And then I believe they gave out another 10 stones right after to help make up for the situation. But yeah, I mean, that is a pretty crazy situation. And again, looking through glitches and stuff like that for myself, I did not even know this existed. Probably because I never played, or I did play Japanese Dokkan for a little bit, but I never, I guess, played it actively enough to experience this glitch. Alright, the next glitch happened on the global side of the game, and I believe the JP side as well, but I know for certain it was on the global side of this game. And this is the transformation glitch. Now, I'm calling it that because it could be labeled the giant mode glitch, but it also could happen if you used the LR Int Super Saiyan Vegito and the LR Fizz Super Gogeta. But basically, if you either fused or if you did the giant mode or the rage mode, if you killed the final opponent in a turn with any of those characters in those modes, the game would crash. There's nothing you could do. You could reset it infinitely. You could do whatever you want. You just would keep crashing every time you killed that last opponent. Of course, you could cancel the run and go back in and try not to use that person or that mechanic to kill them. But it was pretty annoying because not only was it basically made it hard for you to use the Year 3 fusion, since every time they would kill somebody, they would just crash your game, which shows you how powerful they are. But or the giant modes were, you couldn't, and really you can't control giant modes either, because especially back in the day, they were random. So you just had a lot of issues with like, okay, I can't kill this boss of this character because I just won't be able to play my run anymore if that were to happen. But not only that, there was like zero urgency from the development team to even fix this. They're like, it's not that big of an issue, it's not like hurting gameplay that much, when if you're using, the anniversary units, they just were not usable in their fusion states because they could just crash your game. So it was pretty crazy what in the world is going on there, and the fact that you could just crash your entire game from using certain forms or modes. They didn't even give that much compensation for it either, only 3 stones for it taking forever for them to fix, to what seemed to be a bigger issue than they let on to be. Alright, the final glitch we're going to talk about today is the Dragon Stone Duplication glitch. This one I talked about a little bit before, but I don't think I've seen this version of the Dragon Stone Duplication glitch. This is one I was not familiar with until today, so I'm bringing it up here as well. In fact, all these ones I'm talking about today I have not been familiar with until right now, as I've looked for these glitches for myself. But the Dragon Stone Duplication glitch worked like this. You could go through the Dokkan Battle APK and to modify what you were receiving through gifts. So if they gave you, let's just say, 5 stones for a gift of, I don't know, compensation rewards or gift box, or like, oh, first place, here's 30 stones, right? Whatever, usually the way they would distribute stones into your gift box for campaigns, rewards, whatever. You could take those stones, and since they technically weren't yours yet, you can go through the APK and change the multiplier, so you could change it from 1 to 100, and those 5 stones would become 500 stones. So, with being able to access the APK fairly easily, a lot of people were able to mod the game and make it look quote-unquote ethical on how they obtained those stones, since they were obtaining it through the gift box. And this was a pretty big issue, because a lot of people use this glitch to get massive amounts of dragon stones, even content creators, so that they could make these crazy summoning videos. 10,000 stones, here we go, right? A lot of people were doing that, and back in the day, DBZ Space had a lot of modded accounts who used these dupe stones, and DBZ Space would sell off of these accounts to people to play with them in order, just for him to make money and for all the situation that was going on there, or giveaway accounts, right? That was another thing as well through DBZ Space. But I mean, eventually this dev team caught on to the fact that people were getting infinite amount of dragon stones and tons of summons were happening, and they're like, why is there so many more stones being poured into this banner than normal? And so they started to take action into the modded stones, and what they were able to quickly weed out all of these people who used this method to gain an insane amount of stones. But it is interesting though, because there is some layers to it, of course. Like, they were like, oh, if you spent money, you might have a higher chance of avoiding the ban, even though you did duplicate. But, and I guess to be fair, I understand that to an extent. Like, okay, you did break the TOS, but the whole reason why the TOS exists is to encourage you to play the game as intended, as in you're capped off to this many stones, and then after you capped off to this many stones, you would start buying stones. But if you're already buying stones, it's still at a normal rate, even though you're getting extra stones, I guess we'll be okay with it, kind of thing. From what my understanding of it is, but I mean, it was a pretty big ban on the people who use this Dragonstone duplication method. They were very ruthless with how they were banning. Like, again, it was pretty much every single person who used it got banned. Like, I mean, I'm sure there was some lone survivors of this glitch that came out of it and was like, I did not get banned, even though I did farm these, or I did mod these stones into my account. But I mean, they did get a lot of people. I mean, there was just a good amount of people that got banned due to this usage as a glitch. But let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Have you guys heard of these glitches before, or are some of these a new glitch that you've been introduced to through this video? Let me know what you guys think. The link to all of my voice content is going to be to my first playlist in the description. The second one is going to be all of my Dokkan Battle videos in general, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye bye.